Good evening and welcome to Match of the Day, and I hope you had the opportunity to enjoy some Easter sunshine. It certainly did no harm to the football business, there being 41 goals scored in the Canon League Division 1, and in our two matches tonight, goalmouth incidents are as plentiful as daffodils in spring. There's much to appreciate in both Sheffield Wednesday versus Grimsby Town and Manchester United against Coventry City.
Hughes has got away for a moment. Oh, and he hit the post. Shelton's cross looking for Sterland on this side. Oh, what a volley against the bar.
Tonight's headlines. Ray Wilkins talks about a possible move to AC Milan, but Manchester United manager Ron Atkinson says we're not selling, it's just the Italian hunting season. As Jim says, 41 First Division goals today, the best this season, and 14 of them from the 4 clubs in Wednesday's European semi-finals.
Well, let's start the action at Old Trafford, where Manchester United and Coventry City compete for the 3 points for vastly different reasons. Coventry in their centenary year to put the final touches to retaining their First Division status, and Manchester United to continue to keep the pressure on Liverpool for the Championship. Your commentator, Barry Davis.
On a hazy afternoon at Old Trafford, United turn to Mark Hughes to cure their recent lack of goals and find 2 old boys in the opposition midfield, both Republic of Ireland internationals. Jerry Daly, who left here in March 1977, he's on the left, and on the right, Ashley Grimes, who departed last August. And looking at the United lineup, they might wish that either or both were still on their books, because Brian Robson and Arnold Muren are both still on the injured list. It's Norman Whiteside who is demoted as Hughes gets his chance. Coventry, whose season has gone from the sublime to the relegation threatened, leave out their top scorer Terry Gibson, he's substitute, and Mickey Ginn is restored to the midfield. And among the watchers, Steve Coppell. How sad that he's not still out there on the field, having had to give up during the course of the season because of a knee injury. Sadly missed by both United and by England. Coventry attacking the Stretford end. Haven't won away from home since last December. 5 draws and 5 defeats since. Ray Wilkins. Arthur Albiston. Sun shining very brightly, and it's going to be quite warm for the players. Here's Arthur Graham with the first run of the afternoon, which is brought to an end by the trip. But the man sitting it out, Sam Allardyce, who may actually have got the worst of that. But no sympathy, I think, from the referee, who is David Hutchinson from Harrogate. Graham leaving it to Wilkinson. It's Daly. Oh, the bounce was very unkind. Certainly there was no intention to play the ball with the hand then. Here's Ginn. Platt now down the middle. This is Ashley Grimes. Coventry getting plenty of players forward, and Grimes getting some good-natured booing. Arthur Graham's presence was enough to put Grimes off. Cost £200,000. And here's Hughes with Allardyce. Moses. Wilkins looks up for a flick at the back post, and the flick in the end came from Stapleton, but was across the face of the goal and wide. Very clear intention then from Ray Wilkins. 2 players who could come in on that on the far post, and it was the header from Stapleton which went wide. And Perry Suckling looks as though he ought to be riding in the 3 o'clock. Touched his cap as a sign of asking for forgiveness. Stapleton, Wilkins, Hughes right, McGrath left. Oh, what a good try! And a good save again. And it's been said many times before, but why does Ray Wilkins not do that more often? He's got it in either foot, but he seems so reluctant when he gets to the edge of the area to have a dig. Out by Allardyce. Grimes looking up, looking for Gin. Found a Scotsman instead. Bobby Gull, the Coventry manager, with a police escort, it would appear. Graham. Mainly across the field. Wilkins. Hughes has got away for a moment. Oh, and he hit the post. Did well to resist the attentions of Allardyce. And he gets great applause. But the post not on his side, smacked against its foot. Moran. McGrath. Graham. Hughes, yes! And he keeps up a good record. He's had 3 full games before this one and scored in 2 of the 3. And now he's made it in 3 of the 4. Deflection a bit fortunate for him, but he took full advantage to bury the ball. 4 minutes from half-time. And United at last have the lead. Daly. That now. And his selection justified so far. Stapleton. Alveston. Hughes just to his right. Goal kick. Mr. Hutchinson has 1 check of the watch. Well, for so long, the opening half belonged to 18-year-old Perry Suckling. Made a number of good saves, particularly from Wilkins, but in the end, this man had the most important say, with the goal that divides the teams, scored by Hughes in the 41st minute. United's captain, Brian Robson, taking time out to sign a few autographs. He's missed a total of 6 league games, and in those games, United have dropped 11 points. And while the first half belonged to Perry and Mark, it's been a story of the Davids amongst the referees and linesmen, because David Hutchinson has a hamstring injury. He's replaced by David Farrell of Nantwich, and on the line with the yellow flag comes David Jones, who is a Manchester boy. And there's the new linesman, and the new referee has already given his first decision. Coventry, let me remind you, behind by a goal to nothing. Goal scored by Hughes 4 minutes from half-time. Moses, McGrath rather. Oh, and he hit the crossbar. Really thumping shot. It came back off the crossbar with the goalkeeper beaten. Well, Paul McGrath has never scored for the first team. He couldn't have come closer than on that occasion. Allardyce. Graham's had a lot of good covering. Nice header from McGrath. Graham. Well, probably a good thing that Adams didn't make contact. Moses. It's It's a bit strong. Corner conceded by Butterworth. Hogg already forward, and Moran appearing too in the area. And here's Moran. Punched by the goalkeeper, who's out of his ground. And McGrath gets his first goal for United in not quite the spectacular fashion that the shot which came off the crossbar would have achieved. But the header with Perry Suckling still down on the ground and unable to recover his position. And United have breathing space and a 2-0 lead. 52 minutes gone, and a moment for Paul McGrath to remember for some time. Jacobs across. Mike Duxbury. Stapleton. Hughes, good turn. Alveston. Graham. Butterworth comes to him, Alveston goes down the line. Hughes, McGrath threatening in the box, Graham, plenty of United players forward, and Ray Wilkins scores. Header back at the far post from Frank Stapleton from Graham's cross, and Ray Wilkins gets only his second outfield goal of the season, to which he can add 3 penalties. 61 minutes, and what looked like a deal of hard work has become quite an easy afternoon for the home side, who have now matched the score of this fixture last year, which was also played on Easter Saturday, although slightly earlier in April then. 3-0. Here's Ferguson. Bit of loss of concentration, which United may have been made to pay, and Ferguson very disappointed that they weren't. So Ron Atkinson with every reason to be pleased. And Bobby Gould on the right of that quartet as we look. It's befitting the match rather encapsulates Coventry's season. Promise at the start, with a struggle in the second half. Wilkins all ready for the second move. Hogg. Duxbury. Adams chased by Hughes. Good tackle. And Adams clearly pained, but the boot made contact with the ball first before it did so with the ankle. There's Terry Gibson, the Coventry City substitute. Top scorer with 18 goals this season. And Adams in trouble. But although he was hurt, I still think the ball was won first, but that's no consolation to him at the moment. And Coventry want the substitution made immediately. It is bringing on a striker. And Coventry have just lost their left back. Halfway through the second half, Gibson immediately in the action, as is his wont. Oh, and he hit the post! Well, denied what would surely have been a record scoring time for a substitute. Pushed a bit onto the post by Gary Bailey, I think. But certainly the ball had got behind the goalkeeper. Daly to Bennett. Appeal for handball, but not given. Things have gone so wrong for Bobby Gould's side. Now losing Mick Adams as well. Free kick against Hughes. And the free kick given against Moran again. A rather more dangerous position. Well, that's Perry Suckling's view of it. That's his opposite number, Gary Bailey. Checks the right side of his goal is covered. Needs an overlap on that post, which he feels he's got. And you can see that that side is definitely covered. Oh! Oh, what a magnificent goal by Jerry Daly. 74 minutes and a little touch, and Daly found an absolute beauty which hummed into the corner. So the ex-United boy scores, and a memorable goal too. Stapleton. Good turn. Duxbury. That's too strong. But we'll run to Graham. Never help close at hand. Comes straight out to Duxbury. Oh, it's a bit short, and the goalkeeper did well to claim it. Gin's back pass. Hogg. Bennett. Grimes. Stapleton with a lot of space. Wilkins going outside him. Hughes the other way. Jacobs' head was in the way. Ball was out. And good news on the Coventry bench is that Mick Adams has a sprain to the right ankle, but no more. United free kick. Hogg to Wilkins, Duxbury outside. And up come the two central defenders for the corner. Out by Jacobs. Stapleton. Hughes. Oh! Well, the congratulations for Hughes, but a great deal of the credit deserved by Frank Stapleton, who held the ball, tried twice to set up the opportunity. Second time it worked, and Hughes needed no further invitation. 78 minutes. And United have their fourth four-goal tally of the season. Gibson. And again. Hasn't quite been able to form a partnership with Mick Ferguson since Ferguson's return to the club. But even so, 18 goals in his first full season after being signed from Tottenham has fully justified the signing and his own performance. Stapleton. Graham. Free kick given for obstruction. Might well have been given for an inability of Butterworth to read where on earth Graham was going. And Manchester United to make a substitution, and a tremendous hand for Ray Wilkins. Socks down, so a suggestion of a slight strain or something. Anyway, is being brought off. And that must be music to his ears. That sort of reception. He's had a fine season. Stapleton! Turned over. Struck it really cleanly. 5 minutes left for Mark Hughes to get his hat-trick. Oh, and only just wide by Kevin Moran. In spite of the fact that 4 goals have been conceded, Allardyce and Jacobs have done well in the middle, and the goalkeeper has certainly had his moments. Here's Ginn. Oh, that's a good run. And the ball runs a bit kindly for United. Butterworth. Graham. News of Ray Wilkins is that he has a calf strain. Oh, I say, how close can you get to getting a hat-trick? Improvised a little bit then because the ball came to him at a rather surprising height. Mark Hughes ducking down at the flick of the head, and the ball was more than a yard wide of the far post. United still have to meet West Ham and Ipswich here and go away to Everton, Spurs and Forest. So away from home. More difficult games ahead. Well, can 4 goals on a sunny afternoon in Manchester provide the platform for success on a hot night in Turin on Wednesday? Hero of the hour, the man brought into the side by Ron Atkinson, Mark Hughes, who scored 2 of the goals, Paul McGrath, his first senior goal for the club, and the other one scored by Ray Wilkins, who deserved the applause that he got when he went off towards the end with a calf strain. Disappointing for Coventry City, who began well, but I cannot believe that this is a side that's going to go down. Whether United will do enough remains to be seen.
Well, non-stop action there, all right. Plenty of good performances, but none better than that of the senior citizen Butch Wilkins, and in contrast, United's young goal-scoring hero, Mark Hughes, and equally 18-year-old Perry Suckling, who displayed guts and outstanding goalkeeping ability. Enjoyed by Bob too.
I certainly did. The top 5 teams all won at home today, and we'll be looking at the First Division table in a moment. But first, Ray Wilkins talks about that approach from Italy, which brought 2 representatives from AC Milan to watch him today. They met with United chairman Martin Edwards after the match, and although there was no immediate development, Ray himself had this to say to Barry Davis.
When I'm 38, fat and bald, my bank balance might not be too healthy. So that's one thing, one way of looking at it. Another way is to improve your ability to attempt to play on foreign fields, which obviously is a great challenge to any player. So as I said before, there's many things to take into consideration, but obviously if the two clubs come to an agreement, then I would have to listen.
That's Ray's view, but as far as United manager Ron Atkinson is concerned, no one is leaving Old Trafford. He said Wilkins, Norman Whiteside and Brian Robson will all be here next season, along with other good players who will be joining them. We're not selling anyone, it's just the Italians in their hunting season. Well, that's the first time Ron has gone on record and stated that none of his players are for sale. It could be Ron's thinking ahead to next season with United in the European Cup as League champions. But they've still got ground to make up on Liverpool, who also won today, 3-0, against West Bromwich Albion, to stay 2 points clear at the top. In fact, there's no change in any of the leading positions, with Nottingham Forest, Queen's Park Rangers and Southampton all winning at home. The two Scots, Graham Souness and Kenny Dalglish, scored 2 of the goals which beat Albion after an own goal by Ken McNaught had put Liverpool in the lead. Souness got a knock but should be fit to face Dynamo Bucharest as Liverpool defend their 1-goal European Cup lead in Romania on Wednesday. Peter Davenport scored twice as Nottingham Forest got in the mood for their UEFA Cup semi-final with a 5-1 thrashing of Birmingham. Forest, of course, take a 2-goal lead to Brussels for their return with the UEFA Cup holders, Anderlecht. The only one of the 4 First Division clubs in Europe to lose today was Spurs, beaten 3-2 by North London rivals Arsenal in front of a near 49,000 crowd at Highbury. The Arsenal goal scorers were Stuart Robson, Charlie Nicholas and Tony Woodcock. Steve Archibald got the Spurs goals, and let's hope he's in that sort of form against Hajduk Split at White Hart Lane. Spurs trail 2-1, remember. So not a bad day for the 4 league clubs in Europe, 14 goals and 3 wins between them. Meanwhile, the 2 Scottish hopefuls, Dundee United in the European Cup against Roma, and Cup Winners' Cup holders Aberdeen, who faced Porto, didn't suffer any loss of confidence either. United drew the local derby with Dundee 1-1, while Aberdeen won 2-0 at St Johnstone. One final look at Europe. Manchester United's opponents, Juventus, beat Udinese 3-2 today, but World Cup hero Paolo Rossi, who scored their first goal, limped off injured in the second half. And Roma threw away a 2-goal lead to draw 2-2 at Avellino. That's encouraging for Jim McLean. Back to our First Division and the fight to avoid relegation. Only one winner in that bottom 6 today, Ipswich, who virtually put Wolves back in the Second Division after just 1 season with a 3-0 win at Molineux. The crowd there, a fraction over 6,500, was the lowest at Wolves for 47 years. Birmingham, West Brom and Notts County also lost, but Stoke got a draw at Norwich.
Well, now for the top of the table Second Division game between Sheffield Wednesday, on the threshold of completing a memorable season by achieving promotion at least, and Grimsby Town, who've battled bravely to stay with the pacemakers but need a final flourish to make their dreams come true. Your commentator is John Motson.
A typical Hillsborough welcome for Sheffield Wednesday, whose loyal fans appreciate they're now within 5 points of their manager's original promotion target of 80. Wednesday have won 7 and drawn 3 of their last 10 league games, even though the team is currently not at full strength. Mark Smith is injured, so Laurie Madden will play centre-back, and in the absence of top scorer Gary Bannister, 20-year-old John Pearson plays at number 8. Both Pearson and number 2, Mel Sterling, were part of the successful England under-21 squad on Wednesday. Indeed, Sterling played and scored, and the following day he became the proud father of a baby daughter. As for Grimsby, they're also without their top scorer, Kevin Drinkle, who failed a late fitness test, so 19-year-old Gary Lund comes in at number 9. Number 4, Joe Waters, will play right back because Bob Cumming is still unfit, and number 2, Mick Spate, will be in midfield wearing a protective plaster over a cracked bone in his hand. And indeed, the referee Franken Roberts from Prestatyn had to inspect that Mick Spate plaster before he gave him the go-ahead to play. It's a day for shirt sleeves in the spring sunshine and more than a whiff of promotion in the South Yorkshire air. Grimsby are wearing red, and they know that victory for them here would take them within 2 points of third place Newcastle. Tony Cunningham of Sheffield Wednesday. That was Chris Nicholl, the assistant manager who plays centre-half for Grimsby. And it was Madden who turned it back. John Pearson. Here he is again with the flick. He was sandwiched. In fact, there was a clash of heads between Pearson and Chris Nicholl, and both appear to be concussed. Both players have recovered, and it's going to be a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday to be taken by Gary Megson. And Lyons got the flick, and here's Cunningham. Sterland is supporting him. And he forces a corner. This is where Sheffield Wednesday have got so much heavy artillery, because Shirtliff and Lyons are forward, and Megson has Pearson, Varady and Cunningham to aim at also. Floated for Lyons amid three defenders. Shirtliff almost got a touch back by Worthington, and a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday for use of the elbows right on the edge of the area. Chris Nicholl still rather dazed, I think, by his earlier injury. And Megson. Pearson. Here's Shirtliff. And that's Cunningham. Megson's well forward here in the centre, number 7. And Pearson! Good save by Nigel Batch. What a good chance, though, for Sheffield Wednesday. Cunningham broke on the right. Gary Megson had the first opportunity when well placed. Didn't make contact. Pearson did, but Batch saved. Meantime, Joe Walters was out of the action. He was injured when the ball was in the centre of the field. The Grimsby captain. Oh, and a whole crowd of players in there, and it's come to Shirtliff in the end, and driven by Sterland, and again by Sterland. Well, he saw one of his colleagues, Gary Shelton, score with an overhead kick last week at Newcastle, and Mel Sterland tried the same thing there. How dangerous Wednesday are from these corners, because even if the ball is cleared from the people in the 6-yard box, the likes of Shirtliff first off there, and then Sterland can always get the second touch. That's Lund, and then Spate, hoisting it forward. Emson is coming in from the far side ahead of Sterland. In fact, he lost him, and Emson had a chance there to put Grimsby Town in front against the run of play. And he completely lost his marker. Mel Sterland may look back on that and admit that he was a yard behind as the ball was hoisted forward, and if Emson could have kept his composure, Grimsby could well have taken the lead. Here's Cunningham. To Sterland. Shirtliff's gone outside him. Forward by Shelton. And he was fouled as he delivered the ball. It was a latish challenge by Spate after Sterland had just jabbed the ball on, and it's given Sheffield Wednesday a free kick in a dangerous position. And Megson short to Shelton, and oh, there was a chat off the post. Goodness me. Walters tried to get the ball out from Varady, and it came back off the post to his relief and was bundled round for a corner. It's going to come back to Gary Megson. Who's going to leave it for Mel Sterland to take the throw. Header was by Chris Nicholl. Back again by Shirtliff. Sterland is forward still. Bonnyman for Grimsby. Emson. So Grimsby survived one or two hair-raising moments. Emson. There was an offside there. And Joe Waters obviously hasn't recovered from the injury he received in the centre of the field quite early in the match, because he's coming off. And his replacement is 18-year-old Andy Moore, younger brother of Kevin Moore, who was already on the field. Andy made his debut against Sheffield Wednesday earlier in the season, actually. Header was by Nicholl, then by Lyons. So more jitters than joy in that first half. What chances there were not accepted, and Grimsby had to reorganise. They lost their captain, Joe Waters, with a twisted ankle. Paul Emson had earlier missed a good chance for them, so having to replace their leading scorer before the match with a 19-year-old, they've now got an 18-year-old on as substitute and must be pleased to have kept the half-time score to 0-0. Well, there's the present-day Wednesday manager, Howard Wilkinson, but quite an irony here, too, in the presence today of Jack Charlton, who was manager here when Wednesday missed out on promotion for the last 2 years. And now they could, depending on other results, clinch that prize when they visit Jack's present club, Middlesbrough, next Wednesday. Pearson is up. Wilkinson knows that his club are only 3 wins away from definite promotion. 2 could be enough. Popular figure here now. So a free kick to Sheffield Wednesday. The heavy armoury forward again. Megson with it. And Pearson got a touch to that, and it was so close. The nearest perhaps Wednesday have been. John Pearson, dangerous in the air, and the free kick by Megson was ideally placed for him in that Shirtliff took a defender away and Pearson came in behind. Couldn't have missed the post by much. Madden. Away by Andy Moore. Worthington with the throw for Wednesday. Lyons is in there. Took 2 defenders to stop him. Corner to Sheffield. Away by Lund. Only back to Megson, though. Nice play by him. And Pearson couldn't get to it. And can Shirtliff hit it? He can! No, offside. A player in an offside position, no goal. Shirtliff shakes his head, it wasn't him. But as the defenders came out, another Sheffield Wednesday forward was loitering, and it is no goal. That was forward by Wilkinson, and can Lunt get in here? And he's got Laurie Madden to beat, and he couldn't, but here's Ford. And blocked brilliantly by Hodge. The first difficult save he's really had to make, and he made it superbly. Gary Lund was giving difficulty to Laurie Madden, who just got a foot to it. It ran on to Ford, and what a quick piece of anticipation off his line by Martin Hodge, who's been ever present this season and those saves are why he's been keeping Ian Hesford out of the team. And Pearson's header, and Cunningham closing. And Moore, did he hold him? The referee says penalty. Cunningham went down under challenge from Kevin Moore, who feels aggrieved. He's looked across at the linesman, but the officials had no doubt, and they've awarded Sheffield Wednesday a penalty with about a quarter of an hour left. Now, Mel Sterland, who scored from the spot for the under-21s on Wednesday night at Main Road and has had quite a week, takes the responsibility now against Nigel Batch, who's waving his arms up and down on the line. And Sterland scores! A good effort by the goalkeeper, he went the right way, but it wasn't good enough to stop the Sheffield Wednesday celebrations. So what a week for Mel Sterland. A goal for England on Wednesday, his first child born on Thursday, and now a goal which could mean an awful lot to Sheffield Wednesday on Saturday. Kevin Moore upset by the decision. Well, unlucky Nigel Batch. He tried to put the kicker off to start with and very nearly got to the shot, but it was so well placed. Free kick to Grimsby, who've never given up the chase, and they won't now. Nicol and Kevin Moore are both forward on the far side. And this is Gary Shelton. Shelton's cross looking for Sterland on this side. Oh, what a volley against the bar. Brilliant effort. Worthington. And Shelton looks for another penalty. Play goes on. Varady, Shelton, and away by Kevin Moore. It all started with a misdirected header by Mickey Spate, and Shelton was on his way. But when the ball came over, what a terrific volley, first time, by Mel Sterland, and it crashed against the crossbar. That was Spate. And Lund is in there for Grimsby. And Hodge makes his second crucial save, and the Wednesday defence caught square and uneasy. Well, when Sheffield Wednesday look back on this match, quite apart from debating as Grimsby will the penalty decision, they'll remember the two chances Grimsby had, the second one falling to Gary Lund when Martin Hodge excelled himself. Well, it's been a long season, and even though Sheffield Wednesday will put themselves in pole position again with this win, it hasn't been an easy afternoon for Howard Wilkinson and Peter Eustace. A very tight game. Oh, well played by Shelton. That's brilliant. It's so quick that only Varadi's up with him at the moment. Two others trying to get there on the near side. It ran past Nicol, Varady, and John Pearson went for the chip as the goalkeeper advanced. Got too far underneath the ball, but it was a nice idea. And it could so easily have sealed the points. A lovely break on the left by Gary Shelton. Here's Cunningham. And Howard Wilkinson's promotion dream comes a lot nearer. Sheffield Wednesday are within a hair's breadth now. Their supporters celebrate the sight of the First Division after 14 long years. But it was a mighty close match. Settled on a penalty goal 15 minutes from time. Maybe a little harsh on Grimsby when you bear in mind how well their depleted team did. And the two very good chances they created. You can see why they've been in the promotion picture themselves this season. But Sheffield Wednesday, a famous club, would appear now to be on their way back to the big time.
And without question, Sheffield Wednesday and their supporters have earned a First Division place. And their task now is to win the Championship and the medals. Unlike most leagues, a player doesn't get a medal for second place. As for Grimsby, who, like the last time we saw them, fought very hard and survived with more than a touch of luck until it ran out in the 74th minute, when a penalty was given against them. And it was another one of those tight decisions. When Kevin Moore and Tony Cunningham chased the same ball, without doubt Moore fouled first, but it was outside the penalty area. And they both try to regain balance and turn, and it's not as simple. Is the ball within playing distance? Is it holding, or is it just obstruction? Or has Cunningham committed the second offence? Well, not a clear penalty for me, but perhaps Moore's final, unnecessarily athletic fall rebounded on him.
Wednesday's win keeps them 3 points ahead of Chelsea, and they've still got that game in hand. Chelsea also won at home, beating Shrewsbury 3-0. The other clubs there, Newcastle, Manchester City, Carlisle and Blackburn, all played yesterday, and they all drew. Kerry Dixon scored twice in that Chelsea win, taking his total this season to 29. In Division 3, Oxford's 11-point lead was whittled back to 9 when they were held 1-1 at Bristol Rovers. Wimbledon kept up their promotion drive, beating Brentford 2-1, and Sheffield United moved into third place, winning 1-0 at Rotherham, while Hull slipped at Scunthorpe, beaten 2-0. Two interesting goals in those games. Steve Kettridge scored Wimbledon's first goal after just 14 seconds and 5 touches of the ball, and substitute Bob Atkins got Sheffield United's winner in injury time at Rotherham. No change in the 4th division, where the top 4 all look like going up. York, already promoted, didn't play. Bristol City drew today, while Doncaster Rovers and Reading both won. Trevor Senior scored his 36th of the season with the Reading winner against Aldershot. Pools, and with 10 score draws, telephone claims are requested for 24 points. The dividend forecast is fair. The numbers are 6, 15, 20, 21, 24, 32, 33, 44, 51 and 54.
Well, that's all for tonight, except first, very good golf news. Nick Faldo scored a 68 today in the Heritage Classic in South Carolina, which followed his 66 and 67, puts him 4 shots ahead of Tom Kite, Dan Pohl and Larry Rinker. That's going into the final round tomorrow. Good luck to Nick to win his first tournament in America and £50,000. And now to tell you about a spectacular sports night next Wednesday evening, 2 hours of riveting television, the Embassy World Professional Snooker Championship, a nostalgic cricket item and European football of significance. You'll see all the British teams still involved in the semi-finals of the major competitions, and perhaps Nottingham Forest, Aberdeen, Spurs or Liverpool have the best chance of qualifying for the finals, and Manchester United face the hardest task, needing to beat Juventus in Turin. But the number of chances they created today and took should do no harm to their state of mind, and good luck to them and all those British clubs who fly the flag on Wednesday. Good night.
Wilkins, Hughes right, McGrath left. Oh, what a good try! Wilkins. Hughes has got away for a moment. Oh, and he hit the post. Moran. McGrath. Graham. Hughes, yes! McGrath. Oh, and he hit the crossbar. And here's Moran. Punched by the goalkeeper, who's out of his ground. And McGrath gets his first goal for United. Graham, plenty of United players forward. And Ray Wilkins scores. Stapleton turned over. Stapleton. Hughes. Oh.